Hello, welcome to this edition of Lori Talk. Today's topic is why daycare should not hire teenage teachers in the classrooms. I know most of you will find this topic interesting because most of you guys are non-traditional college students. And from the surveys earlier in the show, most of you indicated that you have children that are in daycares or you're going to start a family soon and will be using a daycare. Okay, let's get started. I am currently a teacher in a pre-K program that is housed inside of a daycare. And after working for a few months in the classroom and meeting some of the teachers, that is when this question of should the daycares hire teenage teachers really came into my head, and I started thinking more about that topic. As parents and aunts or uncles, you all know that raising children is a hard job. Teaching them is very demanding. It's a very tough job. At home, as parents, we have one or two kids to deal with. In a classroom setting, as teachers, we normally have up to 18 children on our own, or we might have a co-teacher with us. That is very hard. It's very demanding. There's lots of tears, lots of whining, crying, lots of fighting, arguing with the kids. As myself, as an older person, I'm almost 40. It's very hard. It's very demanding. Having teenagers in the classroom, they get very stressed out. They get very frustrated with the kids at times. Not saying that the adults don't. But children need consistency. It takes a special person to be a teacher in a daycare classroom. After I was in the classroom in the school, I noticed that some of the teachers weren't always there. They didn't work the same schedule every week. I thought maybe they were only part-time. I asked some of the other teachers and I got laughed at. I know that can be frustrating to a parent when they come in and it's not the same teacher in the classroom. It's very frustrating to the kids because once again they need consistency. I think you as parents would agree that children need consistency. They need to know what's going to happen at certain times of the day for them to have a normal day and to learn. As I kept watching and I kept asking, I kept noticing the same people were the ones that weren't at work. And I would realize that they were not coming to work because they were calling out sick or they just weren't showing up for work. And it was the younger teenagers that were 18, 19, 20-year-olds that weren't coming to work. And I noticed it was the teachers that were 25, 26, 27, and late 30s that were the ones that were consistently coming to work every day and on time. And they were the ones that were following the rules in the classroom. They did not have their cell phones out. They were the ones that were doing their jobs. They were doing their cleaning up of the classroom correctly. They weren't whining. They weren't gossiping. They were there. They were engaged with the children, and they were doing what they needed to do. They were following the rules of the classroom. That's what children need as well. They need someone in the classroom that's going to watch them. I know at home that you wouldn't want to leave your child alone in a room by themselves or either on a play date. You don't want them left in a room where they could get hurt or they're in danger. So that question again came to my mind. Are these teenagers, are they the right ones in the classroom? Are they the ones that we want in the classroom? Daycares are a low-paying job. Myself, I came from a restaurant industry, and it paid a lot more than the job I have now as a pre-K teacher. And pre-K teachers are one of the higher paid positions in what we call child care, which is sad. Like I said, in restaurants, I got paid a lot more. We do a lot of work in a daycare setting. The argument comes up that I've heard from some of you in the audience that, teenagers make great babysitters, and I do agree with that. But again, a babysitter is a one-on-one situation. It's not in a classroom where they have 18 kids all crying at one time. And parental support in a one-on-one situation, a babysitter, it's a lot more. The parent cares about that child that's in a one-on-one situation. In a daycare setting, a parent comes in, they drop their child off, and that teenager is there to care for that child for 8 to 10 hours a day. And it's now that teacher's responsibility to do everything. We potty train, we feed your child breakfast, lunch, snacks. Sometimes it's the dinner we have to feed them. When they're babysitting, it's only for a couple of hours most of the time. The argument has come up too that in church situations that the teenagers are great. And again, I agree with that. In the church setting, that it's normally 2 people in a classroom. The ratios are a lot lower. There's normally 7 or 8 kids in a classroom with 2 teachers. And again, in the daycare, you have up to 18 kids or up to 22 kids in that classroom. And the parental involvement in a church setting is a lot more than it is in a daycare setting. So I just feel the teenagers are not right for the position to be in a daycare setting, to be alone with children. They're the ones that aren't coming to work on time. They're not following the rules of the classroom. And I know as parents, you wouldn't want your child left in this situation with teachers that aren't coming to work. They're not doing their jobs. They're not taking care of your children. And you pay for that. You pay for your children to be left in the care of someone that's going to take care of them with a teacher that they're assigned to for the year. And unless they quit or they leave that school daycare setting, then they should be with that teacher. They shouldn't have to be with substitute teachers. Substitute teachers, kids don't act the same. They don't get the same nurturing that they need. And I just think that it would be a better fit if they had older teachers in the classroom that are more responsible and came to work on time. Now there are some different ways that we could, as daycare professionals, that we could get around maybe helping these teenagers a little more, and that would be to have more training. There are different types of degrees and certificates that teenagers could get even straight out of high school. They can get something that's called a CDA, which is a child development accreditation, and that's something that the teenager would have to pay for. It's roughly $500, and it's a few hours, roughly 4 months that they would have to go, and they would have to take classes, and they get certified, and that gives them a little bit more money, pay grade, and then they have more experience where they have been taught different things, different ways to handle children, and that shows that they have the knowledge and also the more caring about their job, and that they're more serious about wanting to do that position. And I think if the teenagers are willing to go out and pursue that, then that shows that they care more about their job, and they care about those kids, and that they want to be in the classroom more. So I really feel that teenagers are not a right fit for the classroom, and that us as teachers, we mold the minds of these children, and we're their future. We have to teach them, and we have to mold them, and we have to show them the right ways and care for these children. And if we're not going to be in the classroom, we're calling out, and we can't do that. And I know as you guys as parents, you guys don't want that, and we just need to do a better job, and we need to have the people in the classrooms that can help these children. And that does it for this edition of Lori Talk. And thank you for joining me. Thank you.